grilled cheese. It's bread, it's cheese, it's grilled. Anything else is a melt. Hello, my kings and queens, and all of us who dare to dream. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for clicking on this video today. If this is your first time here, welcome. Please think about sticking around, liking, commenting, and subscribing. Everybody else, thank you so much for being here on this journey with me. We are at a road to 100, and I'm getting closer every day thanks to you guys. So if you have not yet subscribed, go ahead and do that right now. Click that subscribe button, click that like button. This is a free and easy way to help out your fellow YouTubers. Go ahead, do that right now. My goal is 5 likes for this video and hopefully 1 new subscriber. So I hope you guys can stick around to the end of the video because I do have some exciting news. Today we are going to do a coffee and cards, the Honeymoon Killer. So if you guys don't know anything about the Honeymoon Killer, let me give you a little bit of background and then I will go ahead and do a bit of a reading. So the Honeymoon Killer was a very famous case that happened approximately 10 years ago, maybe a little bit more. This involved Tina and Gabe Watson. Now, Tina and Gabe Watson were newlyweds, only married for approximately 11 days before they went to Australia to go on an expert dive. Now, this particular dive is sought after by many people. There's a pristine shipwreck that is below the surface and people go and take a look at it, and apparently it is one of the most intact shipwrecks in the world. So this is a goal for many divers, and they decided to do this on their honeymoon. What is unusual about that? Well, you would think of something of this caliber that both parties, meaning Tina and Gabe, loved to dive. That simply wasn't true. In fact, Tina should not have been able to go on this dive at all. Their relationship was a bit strange. They met in the University of Alabama while both of them were going to college, yet neither one of them had a class together. Tina was already engaged to another man, but her and Gabe lost touch, and eventually they would find each other once again after Tina had ended her engagement with her previous fiance. So they got together, and people thought their relationship was odd, meaning it was very Gabe-centered. They did what Gabe wanted. They hung out with who Gabe wanted. They did all of their planning around Gabe. So Tina's parents weren't necessarily keen on this whole idea. Gabe actually went to Tina's father to ask permission for his daughter's hand in marriage. Now, that is very old and contrite in some people's eyes, but it is a tradition in other people's that means a lot. The thing is, Tina's dad never was able to give the permission or anything to Gabe. He went ahead and married Tina anyway. So Tina did get some training in diving and did do some small dives as part of training for their planned honeymoon. Gabe was known as a certified rescue diver. Now, those are very important words to remember, especially the rescue part. One of the interesting things about Tina diving was that she actually had a heart condition. Now, this heart condition was considered to be mild, but it could produce respiratory issues. In fact, when she was on one of these dives with Gabe as training, She actually suffered a panic attack and she had difficulty breathing and needed assistance. When Tina was 24 years old, she did have corrective surgery to hopefully fix the problem permanently. However, that is a gamble like anything else, and we don't really know the extent of her heart condition at the time of her death. The reason I bring up these two very key things is that Tina should probably have not been diving. It was something that would cause her some panic, and it also could be very dangerous to her because of her heart condition. She decided to go ahead and train anyway because her and Gabe really had this goal of going to Australia to do this very difficult dive. Before they got married, I believe it was a week or two before they got married, Tina went to her dad, who had all of Tina's life insurance information, and asked him to please update. She wanted to max out her entire benefits and then leave her husband to be Gabe as the sole beneficiary. Before that, it was both of her parents, and her account was not maxed out. Her dad thought that was a little strange. He thought it was very strange. So he asked Tina to, you know what, let's go ahead and wait until you get back from your honeymoon. Wait a few weeks after that. There's no hurry at all. So you guys go enjoy yourselves. You have your life insurance, you're fine. Let's not touch the life insurance until you come back. Tina was fine with that. So Tina and Gabe go on their honeymoon in Australia, and they book a dive on a boat called the Spoiled Sport. Now, there was also a sister boat that I can't remember the name of at this moment that came with. So there were two boats and many people. Now, we are not really sure how Tina even got to this point because of her dive history. Gabe had 55 dives under his belt, and he was a certified rescue diver. Tina was a novice and had 5 dives. So it was extremely odd and questionable that she was even able to go on this experience. However, the boat did have a safety line for people to hold on to as they go down, and they didn't have to let go of it if they didn't want to. The goal is to let go so you can swim around the wreckage. So there are many people on this particular dive experience. Gabe and Tina go down with several other group people, and then tragedy strikes. All of a sudden, Gabe gets out of the water and screams for help. Tom, the name of the leader of this dive expedition, jumped into the water and rescued Tina from the bottom of the ocean. He brought Tina to the other boat, the sister boat of the Spoiled Sport, which was closer, and then performed CPR on her for 30 minutes. Her husband, a certified rescue diver, did nothing. Nobody took over for him because they weren't an expert, but her husband was and made no help. He just wanted hugs from everybody around him as he watched people do CPR on his wife. Now, I do understand the argument that he could have been in shock and doing CPR on your wife when there is somebody else available to do that for you. It would be difficult. However, life-saving measures need to be done. And if you are certified anything, you're held to a higher standard, which means you are responsible for what's going on. Even if you're certified in CPR and you don't render abilities to the best that you can, you are held responsible. You are held to a higher standard. So he did nothing. By the time the ambulance had gotten there, they took over, but sadly she was pronounced dead. The coroner was very confused because she seemed like she had drowned, but there was very little water in her oxygen or in her body. What seemed like happened was her oxygen was tampered with. More interestingly, people actually caught photographs of Gabe bear hugging Tina and also poor Tina at the bottom of the ocean. So what happened? Another interesting fact is Gabe, the experienced diver, believed his wife needed more weight on her belt. Now, having weight in order to dive is normal. She had 8 pounds. He didn't think that was sufficient. So he had an additional 12 pounds added to her belt, meaning she had 20 pounds of weight on her. Very odd. There's a lot of odd about this. I do think that the crew who allowed her to go on this dive was a bit neglectful, even though they took life-saving measures. Tina never should have been allowed to take this dive. But the more troubling thing is, what did her husband do? Now, Gabe was found guilty of being responsible for her death in Australia. He served very little time, got extradited to the United States to stand trial there. Many things were brought up in Australia that were not allowed in the United States, which means that he didn't get an accurate trial. Things like the pictures, the oxygen tank readings, the fact that Tina had very little water in her lungs. Over and over again, strange things happened. But one of the strangest was after Tina was buried. People, loved ones, family, friends, were leaving little trinkets and flowers for Tina on her grave, as people do. And then they would go and find that everything was gone. They contacted the cemetery and asked them if people were removing those little items and flowers, and they said no. It went so far that they got the police involved, and they set up a secret camera to find out that it was Gabe who was coming to Tina's grave and taking everything and throwing it away. When asked why he did this, he said that Tina wasn't this type of person. She didn't like fake flowers and little trinkets. I'm respecting her. I know you were her husband for a short amount of time, but that doesn't mean that you know her better than her parents and family and friends who have known her entire life. Does odd behavior make you guilty? No. But is he criminally responsible for his wife's death? Obviously. The problem is, did Gabe intend to murder his wife? Was this the reason that she asked her father to max out her benefits and leave Gabe the sole beneficiary prior to going on their honeymoon? So many questions. This is the twist here. You can check out my podcast. This is my first podcast. I did a story about the Honeymoon Killer and then did a breakdown reading there. So I'm going to leave the link in the description box so you can find out what I say about Gabe and Tina and this whole situation. Sorry. Little switcheroo here. I hope that you enjoyed this story. The buildup of Gabe and Tina. Gabe known as the Honeymoon Killer. These are real people involved, so please be respectful. And I do hope that you will go over to my podcast. It is available on Spotify and many other platforms. So I'm going to be doing a podcast once a week. And this is something I'm very excited about. Something new, a different type of medium. So yeah, we'll do the reading over there. So that's my surprise. All right, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you guys do some research too, because this is a very creepy, sad story. Remember, I have some awesome jewelry on from Melissa Blue Delish. So I have little witchy ears and then a moon. Kind of matches my outfit. All right, everybody, wherever you are, have a wonderful night. Remember that every single day is a gift. Use your time wisely, and I will see you on the next video. Bye for now.